doing a live today, just why not? It has been a long time since I've talked to you guys, and I thought that a live stream was very appropriate to do. I've read a couple of books. I'm currently reading Slow Days, Fast Company, The World, The Flesh, and L.A. by Babitz. I've never heard of this book. It just crossed. It just fell into my lap, and I'm really enjoying this. I can't tell you what it's about. I have no clue whatsoever, but I'm liking it so far. I also read the new Murakami. It is already out in Dutch. It's called The City and Its Uncertain Walls. Boy, I didn't like this book at all. So it's about a city where the people don't have shadows, where the clocks don't have hands, where there are yellow submarines and stuff. There's a lot going on. It's a mix of, it reminded me of Solenoid by Mircea Cartarescu. And what was the other one? Oh, bloody hell, I forgot. It'll cross my mind. Oh, wait, what was it? It started with an I. I can't remember, but it's his typical things where he talks about girls having breasts and big nipples, and it was already at page 40. So if you're not into that, don't read it. I didn't particularly like this book. A lot of people who are very keen and very avid Murakami readers, and there are lots of them in Belgium, say it's his most bland book so far. And and I completely agree. What was the book? About a man who lived in a sort of huge temple that is partly underwater, and there's one man who comes and gives him food and something to eat, and food and something to eat, or clothes and stuff. It was not a really good Murakami. I thought it was all very bland and very cold, and it lacks the warmth when there's magical realism. I like it when there's a little bit of warmth or passion or more drive, and this was very calculated and very bland. I'm sorry, I can't say it. So the next Murakami, I wouldn't stand in line to buy it if I were you. The City and Its Uncertain Walls. Not very inspired by this book. No. And then I also read Pachinko by Jin Lee. This was a big booktube favorite 5 years ago. Yeah, I see why, but it wasn't for me either. I thought that I'm not a big fan of those big sagas. I'm not a big fan of multi-generational stories, because you can't go in depth with the characters. And if you want to talk a lot, and if you want to communicate a lot about history and the relationship between Japan and Korea, well, a lot get lost. The story get lost in a way, and although I thought it was well written, and I can see why a lot of people love it. For me, it was just an okay book. I've seen better books that talk about that North Korean or a Korean relationship and Japanese relationship a whole lot better. Yesterday, I finished my buddy read with Ollie from Criminology. We read our 20th Patricia Highsmith book. We were at Found in the Street. It was a good read. It was, yeah, still 4 stars, but bit messy here and there, but nevertheless a good read. So it's the story about a young girl who's in her early 20s, and she's now living in New York because she wants to make it. She wants to be an actress, but she's, God, really, really beautiful. And which was also very interesting for a Highsmith book. She was also gay, and she also talked about the AIDS epidemic. And she was followed by hi from California. Hi, Lydia. She was followed by a man named Ralph, and then she meets a couple with a child, and they are artists, and yeah, everything becomes intertwined and a bit messy, and yeah, very interesting read. Things happen that you didn't expect, things happen that you might expect. At least one person dies, of course, otherwise it wouldn't be a Patricia Highsmith. But yeah, it was a good read nevertheless. I really enjoyed it. It was a very engaging and engrossing read. So yeah, it's a good entry point for if you would like to read Patricia Highsmith and you're a bit wary of all the murders that could happen. Although she's not a horror writer, it's never bloody or whatever. It's never cruel. She was only cruel in real life, but not in her books. So yeah, it was a really good read. So we have 2 more books to go. I think it's Ripley Underwater and Small G. Those are her last 2 books, and then we have read everything. So yeah, kudos to us. We are really enjoying this ride, and yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to read an entire work of an author, but from the beginning till end. And that's what's really interesting, because you see the authors develop, you see their taste, you can already recognize their quirks and their go-to formulas that they use in their books. So yeah, it's really interesting to read an author from the first book till the end in order of publication. So yeah, that's really good. What else did I read? Oh yeah, a book that I thoroughly enjoyed, hard but beautiful. It is written by Imré Kertész, and it's called Fatelessness, and it's the story about a 14-year-old boy who is in fact Imré Kertész, and he talks about his time during the Second World War, where he was captivated and where he had to work in the camps and survived Auschwitz, and yeah, he survived so many things. It really is a beautiful book, and it's manageable emotionally, because he talks with a very factual tone of voice, and he just describes the things that is happening to him, but without too much emotion, which makes it even harder for us to read. And it really strikes home, but it's not an overly emotional book. And I really like that. I like books that are telling facts but aren't too um, much working on our emotions. And sometimes when you are just very factual, it hits you even harder than when you're writing something very emotional, I think. So yeah, that was also a very, very good read. And then also read, but I don't want to go too deep into that, Babi by Anatoly Kuznetsov, which is a bit the same, but it's not, you can really feel Imré is an author. It's a really good, solid author. And Babizhar is Anatoly Kuznetsov only wrote one book, and you can feel it, but it's nevertheless very, very good. But if I would advise to read a book, well, this is about, actually, Babizhar is about the two-day murder of thousands and thousands and thousands of Jews on September 29 and 30th in 1940 or 41 in Yugoslavia, and Babizhar was the ravine where the people fell into. So yeah, a horrible story, but yeah, something that a lot of people don't know about, that a lot of Jews were also executed, and sometimes they had to stand in rows, so they because they wanted to save on their bullets, so with one bullet they could kill several people in one go, and if they weren't dead, well, they were buried nevertheless. So yeah, that was a very fun and light-hearted read. Yeah, I haven't read that much. Piranesi! Ah, now it is! Here it is! I know, Piranesi. So the new Murakami is a mix of Solenoid and Piranesi, but more bland. It really isn't as good. So I only gave it 2 stars. And if you like to read about girls that have inner discussions about their breasts, well, go ahead. You will have a whole lot of fun with Murakami's work. It didn't necessarily interest me. So yeah. Yeah, it's a coffee clutch, Helen. Finally, it has been a while. And it has been a while because I did some soul searching. You know, guys, that I've been looking for a job for a very long time now. I've worked as a copywriter for 27 years. Gray hairs, yeah, I've earned them. I loved it with a passion, but I also felt that the circle was complete. And I also felt that the route of library or librarian wasn't very interesting. I quickly realized that either I don't know enough politicians, and there's also the fact that people are not now hiring, well, libraries are not hiring people now. Sometimes they do, but only for like 10 hours a week, and that's not enough to live by. So I decided to, do something else completely, 100%. So I was passing a foundation that is just at 5 minutes from my house. That foundation is specialized in treating people who have brain injury. So those people are handicapped, but they were at a certain point, well, I don't want to say normal people, but just healthy people with um, all their capacities and all their abilities. And they had a job day there. And I said, I was just passing by. I said, why not? So I went there and I was the only one. And they are looking for people who spend the day with those people. So sort of a guide, or how can you call it? So you drive them to their horse therapy or their swimming lessons. You join them to go to the movie. You eat with them. You cook with them. All sorts of things, but I don't treat people in a way. So I wouldn't be treating people like, or I wouldn't be a nurse or whatever. So I went there and I talked to them for a couple of hours, and I was the only one who was there and who went to the job day. And I said, well, I have zero experience. I don't know if it's something for me. Would you be interested if I come and work with you guys for a couple of days just for free? And we both will see if I have a talent for it. So they said yes, and it is set on the 25th and 26th of this month. And if it's a match, I will go and work for them. And they will educate me, and they will, I have to enroll in several courses, and also CPR, for instance, but how do you handle people? How do you manage people who have a panic attack or whatever? So yeah, it will be a very intense couple of months. But yeah, if it works, I have a new job, and if it doesn't work, I have to continue searching, but I will be searching something else and not anymore trying to find variation on what I was doing before, because clearly it wasn't working anymore. And I've tried very hard and very long and did a lot of tests and a lot of exams and whatever and whatnot. And if you are the best or not, if they don't want to take you in, they don't want to hire you, they won't hire you, no matter if your tests are good or not. And maybe with this new career, if I get the opportunity, if they feel like it's a match, but apparently a lot of people will say it will be a match, because I'm very consistent. So for me, a yes is a yes and a no is a no, and not when you ask 100 times, my no will become a yes. I am not like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I have to wait another 10 days before I can start, so it's a long wait. I've been there at the end of last month, and yeah, it took a while before they could organize it. Also because yeah, it's high season, high summer, and a lot of people have holidays, and yeah, it takes a lot of time and effort to learn somebody everything, and that's why it's yeah, a new adventure. I hope. So yeah, it's yeah, thank you, Lydia. I hope it will work out, and I'm really looking forward. There are a lot of people in my village work for this foundation. It's called Foundation de la Croix. They have about 500 residents, I believe. and but it's over three sort of, how do you call it, um, not compounds, that sounds like a military base, but three huge buildings, and mine is in an old castle, an old chateau, and the environment is wonderful, wonderful, and it feels like a holiday park. And they have, thank you, Erin. They have a farm, and they have animals, and they have their own vegetable gardens and everything. So it's it has a really relaxed vibe. There are also, so I will be divided into three groups. So um, the people who are still very verbal and very active, but are not able to live alone anymore. And probably also with young, thank you, Lee, and young, not young adults, yeah, between the age of 10 and 14, so teens actually, that have ADHD and Asperger, or yeah, all kinds of things related to brain trauma. A lot of their victims are I won't live in the castle, but I will be there often, normally, if everything goes well. But it's a lot of victims of drowning are having a lot of mental issues afterwards. So kids that just were in a pond and didn't breathe for a short period of time, they can have severe brain damage. So yeah, always be careful. So yeah, that was why I was away for so long, because I really had to reflect on what could I do. I can't sit and wait anymore. I need to work. I've applied for many, many, many jobs outside my field, like for just administrative work, call centers. They just weren't interested. And with this, they just don't care what you did before. They just care if you are able to do this kind of work. Apparently, it's very demanding, but it's also very rewarding. And it's just 5 minutes from my home, so you can't have anything better. So yeah, that's it. That's why I've been away, and also I needed some downtime, because applying for a job for so long and always be amongst the final three, but never been chosen, it's difficult. It's impossible to stay sane, and you doubt yourself constantly, and then there's also the financial troubles, and always wondering if you can pay your food bill. And yeah, I had a lot of help of friends and family, and even you guys, but that's only temporary. I need to work on my future, and yeah, I believe that this is a closed chapter, a closed book even, and now I'm ready to start a new chapter. And I love the fact that I don't have to worry. Thank you for your candle, Lee. But I don't have to worry about, in copywriting, I've seen it all, I've done it all, I know how it works. But that also means that people are expecting a lot of you, and that's not always realistic. They think that you can do everything right every time, right away, that you don't even have to look for a certain tone of voice or whatever. So there's a lot of expectations, and I know too much in a way that it becomes unhealthy. And now I can do something that I don't know anything about. People know that I'm starting from zero, and that's such a refreshing feel to do that. It's but yet you know you will do good, you know? I don't have to be perfect anymore. Like John Steinbeck says in The East of Eden, now that you know that you don't have to be perfect, you can do good. And for me, I'm in that phase of my life where I can do good instead of being perfect. Instead of of writing the perfect headline or the perfect tweet or the perfect Instagram bloody post. Maybe now I can make somebody smile and laugh and have a good time and learn them things. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Thank you, Bukak. Thank you. Um, what else could I want? It sounds like a perfect match. I hope it will be a perfect match. I hope I will be able to um, set my emotions aside, because you can't be too emotional. And but on the other hand, I think I've been through so much. I've also been on the receiving end of needing help, and I think that helps me make more interesting choices for them. And because I know shit happens, and I don't have to feel sorry for them. I just have to focus on the things that they are able to do and make the best out of it, and try to have fun. And I hope I can make at least one person happy or happier, or giving them something to live for. Of course, there will be, it's sometimes I will have to, it's in shifts, so sometimes I will have to work in the morning or in the evening, but I don't mind. Muffin doesn't really know the difference between a Sunday and a Monday. So yeah, for me, it's not really a problem, an issue. My niece, my brother's daughter, has done the same for a very long time, and we are exactly the same when it comes to character and voice even. And so she was really good at it, so she thinks that I'm capable of pulling it off. And yeah, I'm really curious. Maybe they will say, no, we don't see it in you, it will be too hard for you, but at least I gave it a shot. And if it's nothing, well, yeah, then I will have to find something else creative that I haven't thought about before. But this one I didn't think of earlier, but why not? So yeah, that's it. Do you have any questions, or is it something you want to talk about? I'm not following the Booker this year because I don't have a budget to buy books. I am not like Eric or so many other booktubers that receive their books for free. I live in Belgium, so they won't send it. It's too expensive. Thank you, Brexit. So yeah, I'm not following any awards this year, and I'm letting it go. But I will, there was a period that I was not feeling it anymore to read, and but now, yeah, the lust for reading is back, and also I was missing you guys, and so yeah. Are there any questions, or should I just say bye-bye? The last fiction translated book that I really enjoyed. Ooh, let me see. I really enjoyed. Fatelessness, yeah, it was really good, by Imré Kertész. That was really what? Oh, you saw Tom. That's great. I've read some winners. Yeah, that's true, but I don't think I he's glowing. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Tom is a really nice guy. He's such a wonderful person. And very oh yeah, Fatelessness by Imre Kertész. Fatelessness by Imre Kertész. That was really good. I will start reading Melinda by Bergman, together with Sophie from Bibliosophie, and we talked about this for at least 6 months to read this together, and now she made a group read, and yeah, and other things. Of course, we are still reading The Magic Mountain, which is wonderful. I think that's a wonderful book. People find it surreal sometimes. I do read your comments in Discord. They find it surreal sometimes, but I think it's a fabulous book. And yeah, I think I will end it on this note. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to see you guys back, and there will a lot more videos to come. Oh, he also has a new job. Ah, cool. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, Lee. So yeah, thank you for watching, and glad to be back and glad to see you back. Bye-bye.